Day, everybody. This is your old boy Ray Fisher. And I'm hoping my little riff right there, my little harmony. My voice is still a little up right now, so I appreciate it. I need a haircut, says some folks out there. Hey, listen, I don't need one. Shoot, come on now, don't hate, stop hating. Yeah, no. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate every bit of the support you guys have been giving me over the last week or so. I'm not gonna lie, it has meant a lot to me, a massive amount to me. So we're gonna have ourselves a road to go with this situation, but we're gonna get there, and I appreciate every bit of it. And for the folks who are showing less support, and dare I say, the negativity out there, just know I forgive you in advance. You know, we're gonna get this thing done. Let me tell you, we're gonna get it done. It's just a matter of when. And for the folks out there who are supportive of the situation, just keep in it. We're gonna keep making some noise. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that justice, for lack of a better pun, that justice does get served in this situation. And just remember, keep in mind, there was a point in time when people did not believe that there was a Snyder Cut. All right. And so let's just go ahead and rock with that. So, just want to check in with you guys, see how you all are doing, right? Because we are still very much in the thick of everything going on in the world right now. I mean, look around us. The world is kind of on fire, right? We've got issues politically. We've got issues pandemic-wise. We've got issues going on socially. I mean, it makes a lot of things seem a lot more frivolous, especially to me in this time, and taking a hard look at my time on this planet and, you know, how uncertain the amount of time I may have after this is as a thing. You know, it really puts things into perspective for me. And so I just wanted to make sure that you guys were doing okay, and try to shed a little light, just a little bit of love, a little bit of enjoyment, just a little bit of a smile, if I can, on your day. So Keanu Reeves and you, Ray, on a film. Hey, listen, I said it before. I mean, the film industry, the business is probably the last thing on my mind right now. There are clearly many more important things we should be worried about than that. And while I don't agree that, you know, film and TV should be going back into production at this time, I get why people are passionate about having those things be done. You know, it's tough because, you know, we've seen things open back up. We've seen the numbers spike back up. We've seen things shut back down now as a result of those numbers spiking back up. I get it. We absolutely have to. We have to get these things handled. We have to. So I appreciate every single one of you out there who are doing whatever you can. Ooh, almost knocked down my whole structure over here. Uh-oh. I have to fix that later. I have some lights lining this window that I'm doing this from, and yeah. All right. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys are doing out there to slow and stop the spread of COVID-19. And as always, I appreciate everything you're doing out there to fight for social justice, to fight for people who don't look like you, for people who don't have the same privileges as you, and for people who may be getting taken advantage of by those who have power. I appreciate that. And so I'm going to stay dedicated to this fight in every capacity. And it'd be silly for me to continue to try to motivate people to stay in the fight if I'm not willing to fight for those things on my side, when it affects me personally, when it affects me financially, when it affects me professionally. Can you dig that? So I'm right here with y'all. Yeah, come on, you already know. And we're going to take a sip of that hot tea today. So yeah, I really didn't have anything too specific to say or too deep to say. Just know that the process has begun, and we're going to keep pushing. So when I say you already know. It means you already know. So saying love my mug. Well, for those of you who are unaware, that my mug is a heat activated cyborg mug that a buddy of mine got for me. So whenever the tea cools down or whenever I finish it or whatever, like all this stuff on it fades completely away. So it'll just the mug turns black after that. So it's pretty cool. And we're going to keep up the good fight because we have to. There's nothing else we have to do right now besides have these kind of important conversations and making sure that the light is being shined in the way that it needs to make sure that people are taken care of and people are protected. Right? So, come on. You already know. Mr. Robles says you were a class act to meet at Ace Comic Con in New York. What were you wearing, Mr. M. Robles? What were you wearing over there? I probably remember you if I saw you in person, I probably remember. I got a pretty good memory in general, but also when it comes to faces, I'm like, I met that person back in that was like my 5th grade teacher's cousin that she brought in for that one experiment that we did. It's really funny. So, no, and I appreciate you guys. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys saying all the kind words of support and all that and saying, I'm a hero and all that. But listen, you do not need to be a hero to go ahead and speak out about what is going on. All right. I mean, it shouldn't be looked at as this insurmountable task. I feel like if people do it and we get more used to it socially doing it, it becomes easier. It doesn't need to be this thing where we grandstand about a situation, right? We can just go ahead and actually change this world. Because like my main man Bruce my main man Bruce Wayne says in Batman Superman, he says, I think he says it, the world won't change unless you make it. Truer words have never been spoken. Now, he was talking about it in a different context at that point, right? With respect to all that, but the world ain't gonna change, y'all, unless we make it. So, let's go. So, oh my gosh. Someone says, is my NDA over? No, it is not. I'm still very much under contract, and I'm still very much under a non-disclosure agreement. So I've got to be very careful about what I say and how I say it. Otherwise, I can get sued into oblivion. So just a disclaimer there. So for the folks who are looking for more specifics in the moment right now, I'm sorry that I cannot give them to you in the moment right now. You just got to make sure all your ducks are laid out in a row so you can go ahead and handle the situation appropriately so you don't end up being outside of professionally liable, legally liable for anything that could be litigious or whatever that would be. So this will take some time. We will get it done. We will win. And then we'll be able to move on in the world. That's it. So, will I be at DC Fandom? I'm not too sure. I can't really tell you about that. I'm not too sure. Someone says, if you got sued, you get more clout. I'm not seeking clout at all. Keep the clout. Keep the fame. I'd be happy doing theater in the mountains of Oregon in obscurity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine without that. So I've often said if this thing is the only thing I'm blessed to do, I'd be fine with that, because it's what is going to be a wilder process than what this has been. I've done TV, I've done film, I've done theater. The only thing I haven't done in theater is actually do a show on Broadway. Like, once I cross that off my list, man, like, I'm good. I can move on to another adventure and be okay, right? And, I've talked about Hollywood a lot in the recent weeks, right? So for some of you guys, what I said on last week probably is not a massive surprise. It's going to take people being specific about their experiences in order to get things changed, right? We can't talk about racism in the general sense anymore. We can't talk, it's like talking about the government in the general sense and saying, oh, well, the government sucks. Well, who in the government is making it suck? Talk about that specifically, because if you change that, you may actually change the government. If Hollywood is this or that and is having there's a bad stigma around it, well, who in it specifically is giving that bad stigma? Let's go ahead and deal with that. And then you can actually begin to change the entire thing, right? Talking about it in generalities is just it's not helpful. It's not helpful. So if it makes you feel any better, I'm feeling optimistic. about the whole situation, because I know at the end of the day, regardless of what it is that I'm able to say or not say in this moment right now, there's no way that all this stuff does not come to light in some capacity. There's no way. I mean, so just give it some time. Stay strong. Keep supporting one another. And do not let the trolls get to you. Please. Please, my people. Please. I know there's a lot of folks out there who want to go back and forth and, argue with folks about that. I appreciate the love and support. I appreciate the protection. Just please don't waste your precious, precious energy, arguing with folks, because that's all they're looking to do. That's simply all they're looking to do. So we're going to go ahead and get it handled. Don't worry. How do I watch you stream games? I'm actually going to be streaming tonight. I took Wednesday I took almost the entire week off last week. Wednesday and Friday off of streaming just because I needed to get some things in order. And, obviously there was a lot going on last week. So I'll be back on today at 6 p.m. Eastern to do some streaming on that side. And, I don't know what we're going to play. I know we're going to play something. We're going to use that as a time to decompress and just do all the things we like to do, especially during this time. So big shout out to you all. I'm going to have another sip of this tea because I feel like I'm just going on and on and on and on and on and on. So I can't comment specifically about any of that stuff as it stands right now. Just know we are working on it. You already know. I actually had a good conversation with my mom this morning, and I will tell you, like, this whole pandemic, social distancing, topsy-turvy situation with employment and all that stuff, it definitely puts things into perspective. It really, really does. And the things that actually make me smile, like genuinely, like ear to ear smile, are just like little, just really tiny things, man. Just like hanging out, sitting, just letting the breeze hit you. And she was like, yeah, no. She was like, that's what happens when you get old. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, you start not only appreciating those little things, but those ultimately are probably going to be the things that are the only things that you could end up doing. Once you get to a certain age, she's like, you may not be able to move around as much, and all you can do is sit and enjoy the breeze, So I thought that was really funny. She's good at taking my sort of vibes about that kind of thing and just being like, yeah, no, you're getting old. So people want to know, how old am I? I am 32 human years old. I'll be 33 in September 8th. So yeah, boy's a Virgo. You already know. So it'll be good. I haven't actually been able to see my family face to face in a little bit. So I'm hoping that will be a thing soon. But we're back and forth with this whole Corona thing. I'm like, well, if I'm sick, I don't want to go back and get them sick, and if they're sick, I don't want them to get me sick, and then blah 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 blah. So, but they're good though. They're good. I appreciate you guys asking. So, let's see. Vikram wants to know, did I do much traveling as a student? What's weird? I haven't had the ability to actually travel. Right? I don't come from money, like, at all. And in the U.S., it gets a little bit more expensive to travel unless you're driving by car, that kind of thing. I'd been to Disneyland when I was young, right? And too young to remember most of it. But outside of that,